Okay, so what the hell happened to you guys? Okay, so Extra Credits, once upon a time, was one of my favorite channels out there. These guys were amazing. They made absolutely just amazing, interesting videos about the game industry, about trends in it, why things are like one way, why things happen, and they are really good about looking at the bigger picture in terms of games. Their slogan is "Why Games Matter," and that is something that I honestly stuck with them for a long, long time. They've made amazing videos in the past, going down into like the Jungian psychology of Persona 5, why the Vita failed. This is like one of the most interesting and good takes on why the Vita failed. They talk about so many other things, and honestly, I just had to pull up some of my favorite videos because after this train wreck, I am not watching them anymore. This is complete and total bullcrap.
There you are.
I really wish YouTube didn't start autoplaying whenever I put it back to 0, but this is the worst video I have seen on YouTube in a very, very long time. This is the worst take I have seen on the internet in a very long time. This trumps so many hot takes I have seen in the past, and it's coming from one of my formerly favorite YouTube channels. Now, these guys have done bad videos, obviously, in the past. Everybody makes bad videos. Personally, I'm not a big fan of their perversion subversion video, which at first seems like a pretty good video about why Japan loves their hentai stuff and, making ecchi video games. And you know what? I'll be honest, 90% of the video I agree with. But when they jump the shark into Persona 5 and take things out of context and remove the subtext of certain scenes in Persona 5, they completely lose me. Okay, I love Persona, and the fact that they actually took so much out of context to show Persona in a bad light for this really irks me the wrong way. And then you got their horrid video from last year about defending microtransactions, basically. This was terrible. They basically said that, loot boxes and microtransactions are justified because, games are getting more and more expensive to make, and because, for some reason, the game industry does not want to move up above $60 in terms of the standard pricing. That's why we've been seeing an increase in limited editions and stuff. And, to an extent, I can see where they're coming from, but microtransactions and $60 video games should never, ever be defended, at least in my opinion. And who knows, if you guys want to see it, I might make a response video to this, but however, what they did recently was they completely and totally jumped the shark. Stop normalizing Nazis. Socially conscious game design by Extra Credits. This is the video that I'm sure you guys have been getting inundated with. And I was debating on if I wanted to talk about it or not. And I kind of feel like I have to. Again, these guys were one of my favorite YouTubers out there. Hearing about all their different interesting takes on how games matter, how game design matters, and all these other things. They work in the gaming industry. And seeing their interesting takes from inside the gaming industry was always really interesting. I've always wanted to be part of the game industry, whether that being a game developer, a tester, something like that. And these guys kind of gave me hope that, hey, maybe one day I could too. But this is such a garbage take. This is such a garbage fallacy that I can't bring myself to support them anymore. I can't bring myself to ever even consider watching their videos again. And I feel like I have to talk about this because this is complete and total bullcrap here. And they take things out of context. They make bold, false claims, and it is just, oh god. And then there's the Twitter storm, which I don't know if I'll get into or not. I might as well pull up Twitter now just in case I do decide to, but let's get into this.
Playing the PvP in your World War II shooter, and all of a sudden, you're a Nazi. You didn't ask for this. You didn't choose this. Yet there it is.
Okay. Right off the bat, buying the game, physically going out and buying the game, you immediately have chosen to, play as a possible bad guy. you have immediately chosen to be in this game, to play the game, to be a part of its community, and to be possibly the bad guy in the multiplayer. Okay? If I buy Call of Duty World at War, I know there's a chance I'm going to be playing as the bad guys online. I know there's a chance I'm going to be playing as the good guys. And everybody knows this. You just have to look at the back of the box. If you're playing on Steam, hey, guess what? If you scroll down, you can read a whole bunch of paragraphs about why the game is cool and what it has in it. Okay? You can read about the game. Heck, you can do something as simple as going onto YouTube, typing in that game's name, put review afterwards, and see what people are saying about it. It's that simple. It's that simple. If you buy a game, you have no right to complain about playing as the bad guys if you happen to be in there, because you should know you have the chance of playing as the bad guys. It is that simple. Moreover, to further show how bad they are at doing research here, or at least for this video, I hope it's just this video at least, this is Battlefield 5. Battlefield 5 made a conscious effort to remove any and all references to the bad guys of World War II and their imagery. As you'll notice, they still have the Iron Cross on here, and something that we'll talk about later is that the Iron Cross is not a hate symbol as much as people are trying to push it as now. By the way, I had to go onto another search engine other than Google to find this Wikipedia article. If you search it on Wikipedia itself, it doesn't pop up, or at least it didn't for me. And if you go and search it on like Google, it brings up the ADL and stuff. I had to go to DuckDuckGo to find the freaking Wikipedia page for the Iron Cross. This is stupid. But anyways, let's go ahead and continue.
There it is. And it's treated no differently than playing a British soldier.
And why shouldn't it? Let's go back to Call of Duty and Battlefield, okay? Whenever you are playing those games, they are functionally the same. There is no difference from playing as a British soldier and a bad guy from World War II because, hey, guess what? There isn't in the game. Okay, I could understand if there was like a class bonus or a team bonus. Like, I don't know, the British soldiers have a 10% hit chance if they drank tea in the past 10 minutes. I don't know, something like that. Or the bad guys from World War II get a 10% buff if they, I don't know, smack somebody. I don't know. But look, if there was a difference in the game and how each class worked, I could see the argument being made. But if you're talking about most standard military shooters, there is no fundamental difference between them. All your character is a puppet for you to control on the battlefield to kill the other puppets. And hey, you might get to kill somebody. You might be the one who gets dead and then respawn in like 10 seconds to go and try again. It's that simple. There is fundamentally no difference between playing as a British soldier, a bad guy from World War II, an American soldier, or a Japanese soldier. It's that simple. There is no difference. There needs to be no difference unless you're doing a class-based game like, I don't know, freaking Overwatch or something. Side note, I love this theme song. I still love this theme song.
This is bad on so many levels. No one should ever have a random chance of fighting for the Nazis. And
okay, so why not in a game? Okay, again, it's the same thing. Whenever I buy a game, I should know what to expect. And that includes possibly being randomly put on the bad guy side. Why does that matter? For game balance, it makes sense. Because, hey, some people got to go on one team, some people got to go on the other team. And because of game balance and balancing player level and everything, they got to make sure they put roughly the same amount of power level on both teams so that then there's an equal playing field. Now, granted, if the recent leaks from EA about, like, oh, they're trying to, like, rig the system and stuff to make you go buy stuff, that might tinker around with that a bit. But on an actual, you know, good company, that should be how it works. No, game is balanced, then each team has a good chance of being the one who wins. It's that simple. Okay? Tough luck if you happen to be on a bad guy's side.
And we should never express that there's no meaningful difference between Nazis and Allied soldiers, or that they're functionally interchangeable.
Okay, in real life, if you're talking about real life situations, you're 100% correct. They are not functionally interchangeable. The British soldiers who really fought in World War II are not interchangeable with the German soldiers who fought in World War II. They are not. It's that simple. Yeah, I get that. You know, But however, in a video game, where the only difference really is the models of these characters, how are they not functionally interchangeable? Okay, let's go back to Call of Duty World at War for a second. Call of Duty World at War, in that game, amongst the countless hours that I played it back in middle school, I never once cared what team I was on. It never mattered to me. Hell, half the time I didn't even know which team I was on until the end, whenever the respective team's theme song played. Because I wasn't paying attention to the chatter from your commander on the radio. I wasn't paying attention to that. I was running around trying to get some kills in. I was running around trying to unlock the PPSH. Good lord, why'd they put that at such a high level? But look, either way, they were interchangeable. Whatever your loadout was, didn't matter what team you were on. You could be playing as the Germans using a Tommy gun. You could be playing as an American using the Type 90. You could be playing I think the British were in World at War, were they? I can't remember. You could be playing as a British soldier with the, I don't know, PPSH. So on and so forth. It didn't matter. Your loadouts were the same. The only difference was the character model and who was screaming at you over the radio. It was that simple. Really. And it doesn't matter.
And before anyone equivocates and says not all German soldiers in World War II were Nazis,
Okay, I have never heard that argument in my life. Okay? And as far as I know, and they're about to address it, everybody who was part of the German army during World War II was a part of the bad guy group, okay? It's that simple. And if you're wondering why I'm dodging the words, even though they're saying it on here, is because I don't really want to get my video taken down. I've seen a few people get their videos taken down responding to this video, and if I knew the first thing about editing, I'd be bleeping out their words too. So, yeah. But look, everybody knows that everybody who was part of the army, of the German army, during World War II, were part of the bad guys. Okay? A lot of them were probably forced into it. Okay? I'll be honest, I don't know exactly how Germany got their army force up and everything. But, however, I'm sure a good number of them were forced into it. Maybe some willfully joined in. And, you know, patriotism and wanting to be part of the army and stuff, you know. I'm sure there was tons of propaganda to make them want to join instead of forcing them to join. But, either way, regardless of how they joined the army, they were still part of the army, and they were still part of the bad guys. Everybody recognizes this. I don't see how there could possibly be an argument for, actually, some of them weren't. Unless you're talking about, like, a spy or something. No, they were, and they're going to actually address that.
If they were wearing the swastika and are functioning as an arm of the Nazi government, then unless the game goes out of its way to tell you specifically that your particular character is not a Nazi, then they're a Nazi.
On that note, why should the game have to go out of its way to tell you? Okay? What have you ever heard of role-playing? Heck, if you wanted to, you could totally play Call of Duty World at War or any of the other myriad of World War II shooters out there and be like, yeah, I'm actually not a bad guy, but I'm being a bad guy because I'm a spy and stuff. You know, you could role-play. You could, I'm just saying. But on that note, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't at the end of the day. Why should a game have to tell you this? It doesn't matter. It really does not. Because, hey, at the end of the day, you're probably going to die 10 seconds after spawning. Wait 10 seconds to respawn. Jump in again. Get killed. Respawn. Just repeat over and over. That's probably what's going to happen. And at the end of the day, your character doesn't matter. Simple as that.
In that multiplayer shooter, when it switched you to the German side, did it go out of its way to tell you that the person you're playing was pressed into service under threat of their life? Yeah, that's a big...
Everybody knows this, though. Okay? Everybody knows that the Germans in World War II were the bad guys. It's that simple. Everybody knows this. They don't need to tell you because everybody knows it. Okay? You see the symbol and you're like, oh, that's bad. And everybody who wears it is a bad guy. It's that simple. So, no, the game doesn't need to tell you. We're not babies. We're not children. And if you are a child playing Call of Duty or Battlefield or something, you probably shouldn't be. Okay? And I say that as I realize that, yeah, I played Call of Duty and stuff back in middle school, but My parents thought I was mature enough, and that's debatable. So, yeah, no. We're adults. We don't need to be babied in regards to this.
Big ol' nope. Oh, and on a similar note, let's please stop forcing people to play as terrorists as well. There you are.
Oh, God. Okay, so they're going to do the exact same thing in regards to terrorists for, like, CSGO and stuff. I don't know how many of you guys remember, but, and, you know, it might just be because I'm one of the 5 people who happen to really like the Medal of Honor reboot. But when that game came out, there was a huge controversy. I remember even making my local news because, hey, you could play as I think it was either ISIS or Al Qaeda. Can't remember which. It was one of those two from Medal of Honor. You could play as them in the multiplayer, and it was a big hullabaloo about it. You know, the game had a lot of controversy. I think it actually drove up sales too for a bit. But look, it doesn't matter, and you guys are trying to make it like it does. Okay, playing as the bad guys does not make you a bad guy. It's that simple.
Or playing your modern shooter, and all of a sudden you're a terrorist. You didn't ask for this, you didn't choose this, and yet second verse, same as the first. There it is.
Okay, so because they're going to repeat their argument, I'm going to repeat mine. Again, if you go out there and buy CSGO, buy, oh god, what was it? What's up? Rainbow Six Siege. If you buy Rainbow Six Siege, or CSGO, or Medal of Honor, and you end up playing as the bad guys, you should know about it. You probably read the back of the box, or you read the Steam page, or whatever. You should know about it, and you have no right to complain if you end up playing as the bad guys, because, well, you should know. It's that simple. And if you don't like the idea that you can possibly play as the bad guys, then don't buy the game. It's that simple. Don't like it, don't buy it. Isn't that what EA said whenever people were complaining about Battlefield 5?
I mean, that's literally the name of your side in the game. We can do better than this. Even if you put aside all of the people who have had traumatic experiences with these groups, who have lost loved ones to terrorists, or who have had generations of their families wiped out by Nazis, no one should have to put on the costume of an ideology they find abhorrent without actually opting into it in your game.
Okay. Several things here. First and foremost, buying the game is you opting in. As I said before, you should know fully well what's in the content of that game. You should expect to possibly be playing as the bad guys. It is that simple. You are opting in by buying the game. End of story. Okay? Now, yes, could you possibly do some more things in there, like giving people the option to play as which team they want? You know, heck, I remember with Evolve, which I loved Evolve. I know, again, I'm in the minority with that. But, however, with Evolve, you could put, like, a rating on which team you want to be. Oh, you want to play as a monster more? You could, like, put a rating on how badly you want to play as a monster. You want to play as the Hunters, and you want to play as a specific class, you could put a rating on that, too. I guess you could possibly do the same thing here. But at the end of the day, when you buy the game, you are opting in to playing as the bad guys, possibly. End of story. Really, regarding that. And in regarding to the real-life tragedies that, you know, the bad guys in these games represent, you know, with World War II representing, you know, Germany, and, of course, terrorists, you know, constantly still causing issues all across the world. Yes, the Germans of World War II caused a lot of issues for a lot of people who are still feeling the impacts of those things. I'm dancing around words here. God dang it, YouTube. Are still feeling those impacts. There are still people who, you know, lost loved ones from World War II. I work at a hardware store, and I get a lot of veterans who come in. And I actually talked to a guy. He was like 94. Dude was really, really cool, and we chatted for a bit. And I asked him about, what was it like being a World War II soldier? Because he was the first one I ever got to meet. And he told me a little bit about stuff and how he still remembers losing his friends in war and everything. And, you know, yes, these things happened. These things still impact people who are alive today. And will continue to impact people for generations. Okay? What the terrorists are doing all across the world now, all the various different terrorist groups, their actions will have impacts and ramifications that last for decades, if not even longer, depending on what they do and how things go about. You know, but fiction is different from reality. Okay, if we ignore the past in fiction, then we are doomed to possibly repeat it. Okay, it's that simple. Playing video games and such and watching movies is a way of documenting and remembering these actions and everything. When I go through the campaign of Call of Duty World at War, which in my personal opinion is one of the best campaigns of a Call of Duty game, you get put on boots on the ground for all across the war of World War II. And you get to see things that, while, yes, those actual combat situations were fictional, they were representative of what actually happened there, and it is mortifying seeing the actions of war. It is that simple. By the same logic here, movies, historically accurate movies, shouldn't be allowed. By extra credits logic here. Okay, I saw Dunkirk a while back. I don't know, back when it was in the movie theaters. I can't remember when it came out, but it was in theaters a while back. And Dunkirk is one of the best World War II movies I have ever seen. If you guys haven't seen it, I recommend it. It is an amazing movie that tells the story of the Battle of Dunkirk and just how terrifying of a situation it was. And how everything just kind of fell apart with that. And how the British citizens had to come in to save the soldiers from during that battle. It's an amazing, true to life story, and extra credits here saying we shouldn't recognize that. What the hell, guys? By trying to omit the past, we are doomed to repeat it, and we are doomed to forget the true heroes of our past. Okay? Now, granted, you know, a lot of these games have fictional stories taking place in real life events. But, however, if you're anything like me, playing Call of Duty World at War back when I was a kid in middle school made me more curious about what actually happened in World War II. I remember playing through some of the levels and being like, hey, that's crazy. Did that really happen? And I research it, and then hey, next thing I know, it's 2 hours later, and I've read about a whole bunch of different battles and all these different guns and stuff and all that crazy things. When my school invited World War II vets and stuff to come and give us a demonstration and let us see some of the guns that they used in it, it was so cool getting to see all these different guns that I had used in World at War, and getting to meet people who actually fought in these battles, and it was an honor to meet them. And playing these games made me more curious, made me more interested. And, you know, maybe that's not the same for everybody out there, but, however, by just getting rid of it and saying that, hey, you can't put these in here, you can't have the option, or you can't even have the possibility of playing as the bad guys or the good guys or anything in between, you remove the entire possibility of somebody else being curious and learning about history. Aren't you guys the same people who say that games matter? That why games matter? Games do matter, in my opinion. And it's entirely because we can learn from them. We can be inspired by them, and we can learn to move on. And yet you guys are saying that we need to forget that. And it's just going to get even worse as this video goes on.
And by making people do so, we get them to stop thinking about it.
Okay, so this is the same... Okay, I'm going to let it play for another minute because they got...
To stop thinking of the meaning behind these things. We normalize them. We make them just window dressing for entertainment. Those uniforms, those symbols...
Okay. I was going to let it keep going because they're doing the desensitization argument. But, however, this really, really irks me, okay? They're saying... that. So, this is the Iron Cross. This is the German Iron Cross, okay? The Iron Cross is a symbol that was a military decoration in the Kingdom of Prussia and later in the German Empire from 1871 to 1918. It was then used in, bad guy Germany between 1933 and 1945. It was established by King Frederick William III of Prussia in March 1813 and backdated to the birthday of the late wife of blah, 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 blah. The Iron Cross was... It's a military symbol for Germany in general. This is not just a bad guy of World War II symbol. Okay, yes, they did use it, but however, it's not the only freaking group. This is a big symbol for Germany. I've met a lot of Germans who love this symbol because it is a symbol of pride for their country. Okay. Now, granted, after World War II, it was decommissioned for a long while because a lot of people saw it and they would put two and two together and they would think, oh, bad guys of World War II. Okay, that's understandable. But, however, it was brought back in 1956 as a symbol of the Budweiser, Budweiser, the modern German armed forces. So, nowadays, this is just a symbol for Germany's army in general. Okay? And what's wrong with that? You know, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I had to go through hell and high water to find this freaking Wikipedia article because people like Extra Credits are trying to say that this is a hate symbol. This is not a hate symbol. This is a symbol of a country, of their army, of a national pride for Germany. And, oh, come on, Google, why are you freezing up on me? They're misconstruing what it is here, and either they're too stupid to recognize that, hey, it is literally just a symbol of the German armed forces, the military of Germany nowadays, and not just a hate symbol used by the bad guys of World War II. The version that the bad guys of World War II had their more iconic and infamous symbol here in the middle of it. Okay, it's that simple. That's how you recognize the difference. This is not a hate symbol unless it has that symbol in the middle. And you know which symbol I'm talking about. It's right here. I can't say it. You know, that word right there, it's usually added in the center to represent the bad guys of World War II. If it doesn't have that there, it's not a hate symbol. End of story, full stop. You freaking morons. You do history videos. You should know this. I need something to drink real quick because my throat is killing me. Gotta love tea. Okay. Rant over. Let's move on.
Some things that no longer inherently revolt us. They reduce our visceral reaction to seeing the embodiment of these ideologies.
So, this is literally the same argument that violent video games cause violence in people. The same argument that has been debunked on countless times and countless studies. This argument is meaningless. This is the same stupid argument. What the hell are you doing, Extra Credits? And I'm pretty sure you guys did a video covering that and debunked it. I can't remember and I can't find it. I really thought that they did. Extra Credits, violence in games. I could have sworn they did a video debunking that. Okay, I can't remember which one of these, but oh god, I remember the hatred video. They tried to, if I remember right, they defended getting rid of hatred. I can't remember. It's been so long since I've seen. Wow, hatred came out 4 years ago. Wow, that feels like yesterday. So yeah, it's stupid. Okay. This is a stupid argument, and they know it. Everybody knows it. No one's going to believe that the violence causes video game. Okay.
Now, does this make us totally ignore the history that comes with them? No. But for some people, it moves them from the territory of revolting to just edgy.
Okay, so in regards to edginess, okay, there's always going to be people who want to be edgy out there. You can't stop it. You can't control it. It's just stupidity, really, and, you know, so be it. And if they're going to get it from somewhere, okay, in all honesty. And this is a stupid argument here, so.
It makes scrawling a swastika on something change from unthinkable to just dangerous.
And, you know, honestly, drawing one somewhere is a bad thing. I'll be 100% honest. Yes, that is correct. It is a bad thing. But, however, at the end of the day, video games have nothing to do with that. Somebody who is going to do that was probably going to do it anyway. And I doubt video games made them want to do it even more.
It means you might not take iron.
Again! The Iron Cross! You freaking God, I didn't drink enough. Okay, my throat. I'm yelling too much. Okay.
Crosses all over a website as a warning sign that you should immediately leave.
Again, the Iron Cross is not a hate symbol. I know the ADL says it is, but then I guess Germany as a whole must be a hate symbol or must be full of hatred-filled people, according to the ADL, because they're a bunch of morons. The Iron Cross is only a hate symbol if it has that wonderful, horrid little symbol right there in the middle. That's the only time it's a hate symbol. Okay? Let's move on.
And if you don't leave, you might start reading and buying into hateful ideas there.
Okay. So, they're trying to say that, you know, most people, they're literally making the argument of desensitization here. Desensitization, Jesus Christ. Here, okay? I'm pretty sure most people, if they happen to end up on a site that propagates, you know, certain hatred of people, if they end up there, they're going to be like, this is horrid. And then they'll hit this little thing up here and go back. It's that simple. It really is. Somebody who sticks around on that site is probably already somebody who's interested in it. Ugh.
It seems like such a small and simple thing, but it's things like this that erode our safeguards against dangers we sacrifice so much to fight.
They're basically making the argument of a death by 1,000 small cuts here. Every little thing stacks on the top of each other. Okay, what's next? Are you guys going to make an argument saying that violence in video games cause violence in real life? Or that playing games like Senran Kagura makes people more pervy or something? No, it doesn't. These games do not normalize anything. It's that simple.
By the time you've played 100 hours of being a Nazi.
I honestly feel like I'm repeating myself here, because they're just keeping to make stupid arguments one after another.
Their voice stabs become memes and in-jokes with your friends. By the 1,000th time you've respawned as a terrorist, you're either celebrating them or making fun of them. Neither.
Okay. So, that is quite possibly one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. Okay? Playing as the bad guys and then feeling like, hey, we're doing something crazy good here and blah, blah, blah. In a video game, you know, it's normal to root for your team. Okay? You know, if I die in a game and I gotta sit there and watch as my teammates try to do well, yeah, I'm gonna root for them. Because, hey, I want to be on the winning team. And, you know, again, most people can separate fact from fiction. The people who are playing these games and are like, yeah, let's go, let's win, are most people are going to be completely just normal and not have any issues whenever they get off the game. It's that simple. The game has no impact on them. Also, in regards to, like, funny voice stabs and stuff like that, I have never once, and you know, maybe this is entirely anecdotal, but of all the World War II games I've played, and of all of the games that have, like, terrorists in it and stuff, none of them have funny voice stabs. A lot of the time, it's usually just like the commander over the radio saying something in German and you can't understand it, or saying something in like some Arabian language and you can't understand it, and you know, usually it's just stupid. It's just standard little orders like, yeah, attack, we can win, blah blah blah, yay. You know, it's very rarely actually like funny voice stabs. It's just so stupid.
Of which helps the global crisis we have that takes thousands of lives every year. So what do? That's easy. Don't make them morally equivalent.
Again, in a video game, there's most people in real life will recognize that these guys, by the way, they're only using the Iron Cross here because they know they can't use the other symbol. But they know that these guys are not morally equivalent to these guys. Pretty much everybody knows that. Okay? I think that's pretty safe to say. But in a video game, they're functionally the same. You can't debate that. Okay? In a video game, they're gonna be basically the same because, hey, You can use the same loadouts. There's literally no difference. The only difference is what the model looks like. It's so stupid.
Don't make there be no in-game moral difference between your Nazis and your allies, between your terrorists and your counter-terrorist squads.
So you want people to get preached to when trying to play a game. Okay, this is the reason why I don't like politics in video games. And whenever I say politics in video games, and I honestly really hate my old video about politics in video games because I really need to expound a bit better. But this is why I hate politics in video games. And whenever I mean politics in video games, I mean partisan real life politics, because when people try to shove it down your throat, it doesn't sit well with you. Okay, I'm going to be 100% honest. When somebody is trying to tell me whatever their politics are, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle it is or whatever, if it's getting forced at me, I'm not going to like it. And I'm pretty sure that's how most people feel, because whenever one of these games gets super politicky, it tends not to do well. And they are trying to argue that these games need to talk down to us and basically treat us like babies and be like, oh yeah, no, these are not the same. You morons. Nobody wants to be... People buy these games to escape from reality, to escape from politics, to have fun. And you are advocating for them to get thrust into more politics whenever they try to escape from reality. You know, it's a little thing called escapism. You may have heard of it. Ugh.
Frame PvP as a training exercise, or simply take one of your non-odious sides and recolor them so that it's red versus blue.
What the hell? So you... Okay, look. In certain games, like with Halo and stuff, it makes sense to have red versus blue because, hey, not everything needs to have a good guy and a bad guy side. It just needs to be two teams going against each other. Yeah, sure. And, it's totally dependent on what game you're talking about. But if I'm playing a World War II game, it makes total sense for the two sides to be opposite ends of the spectrum and wanting to kill each other. There's no reason to make it red versus blue. Okay? You're literally wanting to babify games, and that is annoying as hell.
Rather than Axis versus Allies. A good example of a game that does this is Rainbow Six Siege. All of your bomb diffusion and hostage rescue multiplayer with no normalizing terrorists.
You're still killing people in the games, though. You're still killing people. You're still acting out good or bad things depending on which team you're on. You're still doing things, okay? This argument is so stupid.
In fact, by having all of the characters as counter-terrorists training for a possible threat, it highlights how real and present of a threat that is. And if you decide that you need to have both sides be playable, don't make them interchangeable.
Why shouldn't they be? Okay? Again, going back to Call of Duty World at War, and I know I keep going back to it, but it's my favorite Call of Duty and it's one I've played the most. Call of Duty World at War, the sides are completely interchangeable. And the game never makes a note of this or anything. It doesn't matter. There is no difference in a video game. The only time there is if you make it a gameplay mechanic. Like, again, let's say one side has better, tanks, and then the other side has better planes or something, That's the only time you could possibly make them so different.
Have players randomly spawn in as one or the other. Allow players to choose which side they're on. Now, of course, this has all sorts of in-game problems, such as creating shorter wait times for fascists, but you know what?
Okay, so they're trying to say that... Okay, look, at the end of the day, no one's going to care. Let's say the next Call of Duty comes out, it's a World War II one, and they give you the option to pick which team you're going to be on. Okay? That's going to cause a lot of issues. And as they say here, the wait times are going to go up, which means nobody's going to want to play. On top of that, it's going to result in horribly unbalanced teams. Because, hey, all the people, you might get all the people who are good at the game on one team and all the people who are bad on the other. And then you're just going to have a complete and total steamroll. This would not work. It would not work in most games. And the games that they might get it to work in, no one's going to play, because when people want to play a video game, they just want to play. They don't want to wait for 5 minutes waiting for somebody to come and join and get on the team that has nobody in it. This is stupid. Also, at the end of the day, the general public don't care because, again, they are functionally interchangeable.
times could be artificially extended. If it meant players had an active choice in what teams they would represent, if you're saying we need people playing Nazis in our games.
Does anyone really care which side of the aisle they're playing on or what team they're playing on in a video game? Okay, I want to hear from you guys. Have you ever cared which team you ended up randomly playing on in a video game? I want to genuinely hear that. Have you ever actually cared which team you ended up playing on?
And if you're going to say, but we need it for historical reasons, then your game better actually be historical. You can't really just hide behind the fact you called your desert map El Alamein and say, but it's historical.
So basically you're saying it's all or nothing. This is stupid, okay? Let's take, God, I don't want to use Call of Duty again. Let's take Medal of Honor, okay? The Medal of Honor reboot. That game was pretty darn realistic and accurate to a lot of the stuff that happened out in Afghanistan and stuff, okay? Let's take that game, okay? So, by saying that it needs to be historically accurate, you would need to make sure that the players can't use the whatever guns they want. You'd have to lock like specific loadouts for each team that they can possibly play as. You would need to actually go to these areas or find pictures and stuff and rebuild the like locations in game. I mean, granted, that's what the Assassin's Creed team does every year, but however, not every game dev is going to be able to do that. And then you'd also, this is such a stupid argument, okay? All or nothing is never a good thing, okay? I don't see any issue with it being a little bit historically accurate or all historically accurate, depending on what the game devs want to do. You're actively asking to limit a game developer's creative vision, okay? This is such a stupid argument. Limiting a game developer's creative vision can cause all sorts of issues with the game and what they want to go with for the multiplayer maps. That can cause issues with like game layout design and everything. This is a moronic argument, okay?
Historical. If that were the case, you need your PvP to at least represent real historical events and be a realistic take on those battles. Once
again, this could cause all sorts of issues. Okay, let's say for instance that a team actually does try to do this, okay, and they want to completely recreate. They want to do a World War II game and have the battle of like have the battle of Dunkirk. I don't know. Yeah, sure. Let's go with Dunkirk as like a map. Okay, so you got Dunkirk as a map. Okay, Dunkirk as a map would probably not be particularly great if you just look at it as it is. It's a big beach with a little bit of towns on the end. Okay, and so if you don't go through and add like trenches and stuff, you're gonna have a no man's land on the beach, and the town is gonna be a horrid place to actually battle because you're gonna have a bunch of open streets and everything and running around. And if you go with like an actually historically accurate thing, it would make a terrible map because there would be no like easy shortcuts. There would be no like really good creative things. It wouldn't make good for a good map layout design, which would make them have to choose locations that actually do have a good map layout design and stuff just by themselves without making any changes. This is again limiting creative design by the game devs. This is just
Once you make both sides balanced, it's also no longer historical. And you can't really say that you need Nazis anymore for historical accuracy.
They're literally just trying to say that, oh, if you want to try and be historically accurate, you can't have any fun, basically, with like game design.
Oh, and once you let players get cool weapons that weren't actually at that particular battleground, it's also no longer historically.
Again, limiting game design and limiting the limiting the players. Okay, by this logic, okay, I can't play as an American soldier holding a Type 90 in Berlin. Okay, I think there's a Berlin map at World War II, so I can't do that because by their logic, the Type 90 wasn't actually at Berlin, so, and you're playing as American soldier, so not historically accurate and therefore shouldn't be in there. This is stupid. This is really, really stupid.
Accurate. And you can't declare that your game will suffer if you don't put players in the jackboots of the Third Reich. And once your map is something carefully designed to have good gameplay by a team in a room in San Francisco...
But you just said that you have to keep it historically accurate. You just said that you have to keep it historically accurate. That means leaving the maps as they actually were from back in the day. That means not changing a thing in the map to make it more of a creative game design map. To make it more of a creative map for multiplayer. If you're going to make the argument that, hey, I can't have a Type 90 playing as an American soldier in Berlin, then you can't make the argument that you can change the game, that you can change the map and stuff. I'm going to throw your own logic back at you. How about that?
Or LA, and it's not a faithful reconstruction of the actual places the historical events occurred in, you can no longer say we need to have players take up arms in service of terror or hate.
You're literally asking for censorship here. You literally even have the guy's mouth duct taped shut. You want to censor people's games, people's creative decisions and design in games. You guys have fallen so far from grace. I stand against censorship. And they are literally calling for the censorship of ideas, game design, and creative thought. This is so much bullcrap on so many levels. Also, this little guy's face is basically my mood right now. Coupled with that.
And look, we're not saying we can't have games about World War II or about...
You are! You literally said that if you can't make it completely historically accurate, then you have no reason to have like the bad guys from World War II in there, and that you should make the game have red versus blue and stuff. You are literally making that argument, and now you're trying to say that you're not.
Terrorism. We're not even saying we shouldn't make games where you play as a Nazi or a terrorist.
But you are. You've been advocating for that this entire video. And by the way, who are you? I missed the old voice actor podium guy. He was awesome. He at least was fun to listen to. You're boring.
But what we are saying is that the fact that you're playing as a Nazi or a terrorist in a game has to mean something. And
it doesn't! It really doesn't! Okay? Jeez. It really doesn't have to mean anything. By that logic, every game has to have meaning behind it. What meaning does Tetris have? This is a stupid argument here. There is nothing wrong with letting you play as the bad guys in a video game. There's nothing wrong with, having historically accurate or not historically accurate. Okay, by their logic here, a game like freaking Wolfenstein shouldn't exist either. This is such a stupid video.
Can't just be a skin. It can't be something that a game randomly drops you into.
Why not? Why not? I have not heard a single good argument here. Okay? It doesn't matter. And I know your guys' slogan is because games matter. And again, I will gladly... I agree with that. Games do matter. But, you know what doesn't matter? What team you're on. It doesn't. Because, hey, they're fundamentally the same. It really doesn't matter.
And really, if we are saying anything in this episode, it's this. Games can do better. And in this particular case, it's not...
They are doing better. I would argue that, a lot of the games nowadays are a lot better than before. But hey, you're talking about the political side. You want games to be more political and advocate your policies, not in terms of their gameplay or anything like that. No, you want them to shove down politics down our throats.
Not even that hard to do better. And it's no more costly to do better.
I don't know about that. You're asking devs to take a lot more time to really think about a whole bunch of extra stuff that they shouldn't have to worry about in a video game. That could extend the game development time and therefore also increase cost. Just a little caveat there, I would think.
All it requires is that we in the game industry be cognizant of the world around us and what these symbols we're drawing on mean. That we think as we're building, not just about the game we're working on, but about the world as a whole. If we can do that, we can take a big step forward for the industry. We can stop helping to normalize Nazis.
And the games aren't normalizing them. This is you guys are literally doing the same argument that games desensitize people to violence and stuff. This is such a stupid argument. Okay, so down here, by the way, I love this ratio. It keeps getting bigger and bigger every time I see it. So, you literally... So, they actually changed their edit. This was the original comment down here. But they actually, like, updated this here. And they did a little bit of a tweet storm. I don't know if I'm going to show that, but mostly because I don't want any unwanted attention going to the guys over on the Twitter. But basically... on Twitter, they said that it's a good thing they've lost so many subscribers. They've lost like over 20,000 subscribers by now. Actually, let's go to Social Blade. I'm curious. Social Blade. Oh, social. I can't spell. Why does it keep popping up for a second and move? Okay. So there's my main YouTube, Social Blade. Hey, I got a C. I was at like a B. Or no, a C minus, I think. Okay, so extra credits. Let's go to them. They've lost, last time I checked, like 20,000 subscribers. Okay. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so it's, I got it wrong. It's actually like 12,000 total over the last 30 days. Look at that. Oh my god. Okay, so actually, yeah, it is probably like closer to 20,000. So let's see here. Minus 4,000, minus 6,000, minus 1,000. They've lost a lot of subscribers. Okay? They've lost a lot. And on their Twitter, they're like, oh yeah, no, we're happy to see all these people go because all those people who are leaving are bigots. Because, yes, everybody who disagrees with you is a bigot, apparently. But let's see here. This is their response here on good old, on their, like, pinned message here. So, basically, they wanted to address some of the comments here. We never said that playing as a Nazi turns you into a Nazi. Okay.
And all of a sudden, you're a Nazi.
Hey, look at that, right there. And not even that, but, like, they're literally talking about how, let's see here, where was it? Let's see here. Oh, yeah, here's the part where they're talking about how playing as a Nazi, and, well, oh, no, I said it. Oh, well, whatever. Makes you more and more prone to, like, repeat what they say and stuff, blah, blah, blah. Here's how they're talking about how it makes you more edgy, and it's a slippery slope into making you into one. You made that argument, you morons. Okay. No, it can't. You're making the argument here that games have an impact on people's psychology and perspective here. This is bullcrap. It's been debunked a countless number of times because, hey, guess what? Violent video games do not make you violent, just as much as games do not influence your political beliefs. Granted, I can see how propaganda, like this hit piece here, can make people think stupid stuff. You literally said that. Hey, if playing a video game makes you into a bad guy from World War II, can I go and play Warframe and turn into a ninja? That'd be awesome. Okay. So you literally basically did. Okay. Oh, God. Let's see here. For those saying that it's just a game and we shouldn't think too hard about it, exactly. It's just a video game. It is just a video game. And yes, I agree that because that games do matter. You know, games have had a dramatic impact on my life. I would not be the same person I am today if it wasn't for video games. I will be 100% honest with that. Persona has taught me so much. BioShock was amazing and taught me some things too. And you know, it's really interesting to see how a game can teach you things. And that games do matter. Games have a dramatic part of people's lives sometimes. But however, you guys are making the argument that it can literally make you into something that you're not. That, hey, a little part that really doesn't matter in the long run of being on a different team matters? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Playing Call of Duty, okay, they're all functionally the same. They're all treated the same. You don't even notice that you're the bad guys half the time. And then, yeah, Dave, you guys used to not talk about politics, though. That's what I miss. Okay, so they're saying basically we live in a time where Neo, bad guys from World War II exist, and they've seemed to increase. Okay, here's the thing. A lot of who people say are the bad guys, they're not. Okay, yes, there are fringe groups that do exist, but a lot of people out there are being labeled as being bad guys because people like Extra Credits here, they don't have a better argument, so they just slap that label there and hope that it sticks. And it's a bad tactic, and it's caused a lot of grief for a lot of people who aren't bad people. Now, granted, yes, again, there are bad people out there, and again, I'm jumping around words. But, however, this is such a horrid take here, and, you know, these people here, they already have those beliefs. You know, playing as a bad guy from World War II in a video game is not going to help, is not going to give them any more reaffirmation or something, okay? And it's not going to make people become evil or anything. My brain is fried. Thank you, Extra Credits. I had to get this off my chest. These guys, I used to love them so much. Extra Credits was an amazing YouTube channel back in its heyday. I learned so much about game design. I learned so much about games themselves, how much thought goes into various different things. Their original VA guy who does the podium thing, he actually did like a whole series talking about the animations of Monster Hunter and how animation is used in games to give a signal and tell a story with every little thing. And those were amazing. And you know, back in the day, they really did show how games matter. And now they're making stupid arguments like this. I have nothing else to say, and I don't know what else to talk about. So, what do you guys think about this horrid video that Extra Credits did? Are you a former fan? What do you guys think? Thank you all for watching. Have a great day. It's your birthday. Happy birthday. And see y'all later. Peace out.